like a quarter of a season. And so we put in as many mythology episodes as we put into a quarter season, as many standalone episodes, and one comedy episode. So it was really also a feature of who came back to do the show. So when Darren signed on, we knew that we'd get a comedy episode. Glenn signed on, we knew sort of what we'd get. He had a good idea. And then James Wong, and that rounded out the bunch.
When you first stepped on set and you were about to shoot that first scene, what were your initial thoughts when you finally came back to that job?
It wasn't like, it was like this loaded moment. We all hit the ground running, and it was a big day, and lots of dialogue. David mentioned that today when we were on our panel, that it was just a huge day of work, and we run like crazy just to get the work done. So I think that it wasn't like we all had a chance to sort of like to smile and enjoy the moment. We were off and running.
So what do you like the most about being back with X-Files?
It's a chance to do good work. Simply when I got the call, I knew it was an opportunity to tell good stories. I had some in mind. You'll see episode 4, something I've been thinking about for a while. The mythology, how I wanted to come back and reinvestigate it. So it was an opportunity to do some things I've been thinking about.
Chris, do you really drop the mythology for 2 through 5, or is it just not as threaded and detailed as it is in 1 and 6?
I'd say we kind of drop it, but the relationship has an arc. So while we drop the conspiracy per se, the relationship continues to follow.
What things were important in updating the story from the 90s to today?
Things are important.
Things that you included to update, like look, stories.
Technology, obviously, and also we're in a different time. When the show went off the air, we were putting all our faith in the government after 9/11, and we're in a different time now. And if you're sort of paying attention to what's going on online and alternative media, there's a lot of talk about possible conspiracies, and so we wanted to be true to the kind of time that we're living in.
Speaking of the technology, I've been curious and always wondered, now that you have cell phones, camera phones, are you going to address the fact that they can't just up and disappear and run away before they can tell anybody what they've seen?
You're going to see in episode 3 we sort of deal with that a little bit. You're going to see some use of new technology and the results of that. So we're trying to be honest to the time we're living in.
How are you juggling between fan servicing and telling a new story?
When you saw the episode today, did you see the episode?
Yes.
You see that we kind of, in the beginning, we kind of give you a rundown of who Mulder and Scully are, where they've been, what they've done, what their relationship is. That's for fans, but it's also for newbies. It's for people who don't know what the show might be. But if you're coming to the show new, you have some catch up to do for sure. But the show, we came back to do the show for the hardcore fans, first and foremost.
How much fun was it to have a character who's even more paranoid than Mulder himself?
Well, that's also an amalgam of a lot of what I'm paying attention to online right now. These characters who are out there doing exactly what Tad O'Malley is doing, and fanning flames. And so, yes, it's interesting to get Mulder and get someone who's even farther or more extreme than Mulder.
What went into the decision, though, to make him so rich and wealthy? Because obviously it's the flip side of Mulder, who's got nothing.
Right. I don't know, it's just interesting to me, and it's opposites are interesting and something to play. Also, a lot of these guys, I think, are making money in interesting ways off of conspiracy.
Right.
I noticed.
Love that.
Is he a Trump reference?
Is there a Trump reference?
I mean, is O'Malley a Trump reference?
No, he's not.
I mean, you obviously came up with him before Trump announced his presidency?
Yes. Well, no, I mean, Trump was something of a feature when we were doing the show. So, but no, he is not a Trump reference.
The look of the show, I noticed this episode at least wasn't quite so more, dark and moody and everything. Is it going to kind of stay more you see it rather than in the dark, or is it going to shift?
You're going to see the next episode will be what I would call a classic a Monster of the Week episode. So you're going to see the darkness, you're going to see the flashlights, you're going to see things that are familiar. But I think that the show that you saw is really in keeping with the way we told mythology episodes.
When this comes out on Blu-ray or however else it gets distributed, will there be missing scenes? Will there be more linking scenes?
I don't know what they've got planned, but I can tell you there's plenty of material.
Are you bringing back Doggett and Reyes?
Yes. No, unfortunately, Robert Patrick Doggett was unavailable. He has another job. So that's one of the people, Alvin Kirsch, their boss, was unable to come back. Also, he's got a job. So I would say those are the two people that we were unable to bring back.
And Reyes?
Reyes comes back.
Can you talk at all about how the Lone Gunmen are going to come back?
I don't want to spoil it.
Figured I'd try.
Is there any thought to, or was there any thought that maybe this new miniseries and the developments we at least saw in the first episode will make people go back and watch the old episodes a little differently? We learned in the first episode that this whole time we weren't really sure what.
Not necessarily the whole time. He makes a reference to something, but you don't know what to take people to face value and to trust what they're saying. And everyone's got their version of the truth, and they may be lying as well. So we want to sort of throw that out there.
Were you as amazed as I was by the audience that was reacting to this? I mean, there were 17-year-olds wearing, Scully outfits. I was shocked.
That blows my mind. I mean, he wasn't born when the show started. That's really a feature of the time we live in, when you can watch these episodes streaming on Netflix. It's a really a brand new time, and a place for television shows to live past their usual lifetime when I was a kid.
Just to follow up, do you think the younger audience is finding something different than, for example, I found?
I have no idea. When you look at the show in 1993, it's a little dated. Hairstyles are dated, wardrobe is a little dated. So are they watching a show that's a historical artifact, or are they watching it fresh? I don't know.
Is it difficult, or it brings you some trouble to say things like the government lies systematically, or things like political mentions?
Yes. I'm sorry, ask me.
Does it bring you any trouble? Is it hard?
Am I getting any trouble?
Yeah.
No, I'm not yet, but the show hasn't aired yet, so we don't know. Stay tuned.
If Fox decides to do more than 6 episodes, you already have it mapped out in your head where you want to go with the series?
I have some ideas, but right now I'm going to finish these episodes. I actually still have a lot of work to do. We're not quite done yet.
In the pilot we saw that maybe there's a cover-up by the government, there are no aliens, but throughout the whole show we saw the ecologies, we saw the purity.
Yes. I'm not saying there are no aliens. I'm saying that I threw a new light on the conspiracy, what it is. And this is one man talking about it, and this is Mulder taking it hook, line, and sinker, so we don't know what the truth is.
Chris, I've always wondered, why doesn't anybody just put a bullet in Mulder and Scully's heads and solve every problem?
They don't want to turn him into a martyr, and that's always been the way we've played it.
Is there going to be any tagline changes that you know yet?
Tagline changes?
There's opening credits, right? How much going back and revisiting X-Files did you do in the lead up to looking forward to the miniseries?
A little bit, and I know the show and I know the mythology, and so I didn't have to go back a lot. You'll see a reference to the second episode in here, and so I wanted to be truthful and honest as possible to what we've laid down. So when the guy, the old man says, Roswell, that was a smokescreen, that's a reference to the second episode.
If the series is hugely successful, do you hope, and I think you know where I'm going to go with this, that Fox looks at your other entities, such as Millennium, maybe do something with that? You know where I was going to go.
I'd love to see Millennium come back. I think it's a show with life to it. I saw a picture of Lance with Megan Gallagher and Mark Snow recently, so I know people would be interested.
You know I was going to ask that.
Thank you guys very much. We've got to grab him. Sorry.